Kia ora class. Today we're going to be talking about media and its influence on people's participation in physical activity. Our learning intention for today is that we are examining the societal influence of media and describing the implications of this influence on ourselves and others. So what is media? Media can be defined as communication channels through which news, entertainment, education, data, or promotional messages are disseminated or are spread. Okay? Basically, media includes all the broadcasting, all the narrowcasting mediums you can think of, such as newspapers, magazines, TV, radio, billboards, direct mail, telephone, fax, people still use those, and the internet. So all of those ways of sending information out to people, that is what media encompasses. And that definition is from the Business Dictionary online. So essentially, media is the term we use for just the biggest system you can imagine, a big system for sending messages and information out to society. Okay, so taking information and spreading it as far as we possibly can within society. How does media affect self and others? So media could have a positive or negative effect on participation. When exploring media and how it affects people, here's some really useful questions that you can ask yourself to sort of work out what the influence is. What does the media choose to show us versus what does it choose to exclude? What does the media show the most or first, and therefore sort of give the most importance to? How does the media show us messages for one group versus certain other groups? So we could look at maybe, I don't know, the time of day and what's on TV. What are the messages directed to maybe one group before school versus what's on 9:30, 10:30 at night? What are the messages in terms of how they're different there? What are the messages that are being conveyed either explicitly or under the surface? So we can all read into whatever that particular media is trying to tell us, but often there's subtle things under the surface as well, subtle assumptions within those media messages. Or how do these messages change our participation in that of others? And I guess that's the big question you're looking at when you're looking at media and its influence, is how is their participation different? What is different because of these other things? All right, so I've got a specific example of media in action in relation to physical activity. I want you to have a watch of this video, and then we'll come back and break down some of the things that we've seen.
Oh, you knew what I meant. Come on.
We promised a Smashed and Bro special, and now it's time to deliver.
So here's our special Manu Samoa Smashed and Bro with special guest shelters.
Smashed and Bro! Smashed and Bro is brought to you by Deep Heat.
Right, we've narrowed it down to 7, and 3 of them feature Alasana Tuilangi. Here he saves a try. Tuilangi lines up Davies and... Smashed and Bro! At 6, this one from Mapusua on Gato got penalised, but it shouldn't have been, so it counts as a smashing. Mapusua puts the head down and... Smashed and Bro! At 5, even the Samoan kicking game had a smash attached to it. George PC times it perfectly and... Smash and Bro! Rebels halfback Nick Phipps made his debut for the Wallabies yesterday, and now he makes his debut here because Paul Williams... Smash and Bro! Into the top 3, it's Tuilangi on Davies again, and Davies will be having nightmares.
Oh, that's a big hit over on the far side from you-know-who, Alasana. Tuilangi.
Ioane throws him the hospital pass, and Tuilangi... Smash and Bro! Number 2 comes from earlier in the same movement. Mapusua belts Kurtley Beale. That's how he rolls. It's a good old-fashioned... Smash and Bro! And now, number 1, the moment you've all been waiting for, and who else could it be but Tuilangi?
Oh, and Tuilangi came in and absolutely hammered Mark Gerard.
Oh. Actually, Clarkie, I think you'll find that it's called a... Smash and Bro! Rub some of that on you, Robbie.
I might come to back.
I will track down the person who was screaming and disrespecting Smashton Bro.
Shut up, John O'Neill. Good night.
All right, hopefully you enjoyed that video. That's from a popular television news sports recap show, Crowd Goes Wild, and that's one of their most popular segments called Smashton Bro. So obviously we're talking about rugby, or our national sport as some might call it. The way rugby is reported in New Zealand makes it seem a lot more important than it really is. You know, a lot of people talk about it, a lot of people see it, but it's not the be-all and end-all that the media sometimes makes it out to be. It's really interesting that it almost exclusively shows male rugby, so male players, male officials, male commentators, male support staff. Very rarely will you see any females in the way the media reports rugby. And the media picks up on certain aspects of the sport. They really emphasize the physicality, as you've seen in that video, the violence, again from that video, and the individual skill aspects of the sport. Okay, and they downplay those other aspects. Teamwork, communication, cooperation, those things tend to be downplayed. Overall, the way rugby is represented to us changes how we feel and how we view the sport, how we see the players, and how we feel about participating or not participating ourselves. So the consequences and implications of this. How is people's participation different because of the media? Was participation increased or decreased? Do people choose this activity over others based on what they see in the media? How do people go about participating? Is there a specific way they have to participate because that's what the media has shown us? Do we need to make any changes or be aware of anything here? And lastly, what action should we take? What is the implications of this? What should we do about it? All right, lastly, I'm just going to go over some themes that link in really, really well with this particular societal influence. Sexism is a good one, comparing and contrasting the different messages about men and women, or the messages directed towards men and women. Or globalization, examining how messages and information travel around the globe via the media, and how you could reach a more global audience, or how ideas and messages can go viral, I guess, reaching an incredibly large audience. And obviously you could talk about healthism, commodification of the body, or youth culture if you so desired. That's our video for today. That was our examination of the societal influence of media.